So here's how I'm gonna show you how to turn your software idea into reality in 21 to 60 days without wasting time, money, or getting burned. Give me the next 18 minutes. I'm going to show you exactly how I help non-technical, self-funded, first-time founders turn their software ideas into a real working product in 21 to 60 days without wasting money on the wrong developers, building features nobody needs, or losing your entire investment on an idea that was never validated. In the past 18 years, I've built software and mobile apps for non technical founders across healthcare, education, sports, e commerce, fitness, government, and finance. Some of these platforms are still running today, 7 years later. I'm going to show you and walk you through my validate design build method, the exact process I use to de-risk your idea before we write a single line of code. So, why should you listen to me? My name is Ibrahim. I'm a full stack software engineer, UI UX designer, and product strategist. I don't just write code. I design the experience, architect the system, and build the product, all under one roof. No handoffs between teams, no miscommunication between a project manager and a developer. One person, full ownership. I've built platforms for government organizations, healthcare providers, sports federations, educational institutions, and private businesses across the Middle East and the United States. Some of the platforms I built in 2017 are still in production today, serving thousands of users. When I build something, it lasts. Now, the biggest problem I solve is simple. I decrease the cost and risk of software development for people who have a great idea but can't build it themselves. Let me show you why that matters. Here's the reality. If you are a non-technical, self-funded, first-time founder, you have two fundamental problems. One, you can't build the product yourself. Two, the odds are stacked against you. Roughly 98% of software startups fail. And because of those two problems, you face a very specific set of challenges. First, you have little to no outside investors. You're working with your own money, 15,000 to 25,000, maybe 50,000 US dollars. That's not play money, that's real savings you cannot afford to lose. Second, you have no coding skills. You can't build it yourself, and you can't attract a high quality technical founder because you're pre revenue with just an idea. Third, you have no technical knowledge. You have no technical knowledge to judge outside talent. When a developer on Upwork tells you this will take three 3 months or 6 months and it will cost 15,000, you have no way of knowing if that's fair or if you're being taken advantage of. Fourth, you're not even 100% sure your idea is viable. You believe in it, but you haven't validated it. And the thought of spending 20 to 50,000 on something that might not work keeps you stuck. And here's a fifth challenge that didn't exist 2 years ago, but it's everywhere now: the vibe coding trap. In 2025, non technical founders were told you don't need a developer anymore. Just use AI to build your app. Cursor, Bolt, Lovable, you name it. Tools that let you vibe code a product into existence by chatting with AI. Here is what actually happened. Founders built apps that looked good on the surface but had no architecture, no security, no scalability, no error handling. The AI wrote the code, but nobody owned the system. And now in 2026, these same founders are sitting in broken products that no professional developer wants to touch. They didn't save money, they created a liability. You cannot vibe code a payment gateway. You cannot vibe code HIPAA compliance. You cannot vibe code production reliability. The AI can write the code, but someone with engineering judgment needs to own the architecture, the security, and the system design. That's the difference between a demo and a business. Now, let's look at the data. Now, when we examine why software startups actually fail, we see the same patterns: no market need, ran out of cash, wrong team, pricing issues, user unfriendly product. Nearly half of all startup failures can be traced back to one thing: a lack of proper validation and planning before development. I've seen this firsthand across 18 years. The founders who skip validation and start straight into development, they come back 6 months later having wasted 20 to 50,000 on a product nobody wants. The founders who validate first, they launch with confidence, within budget, and start getting users immediately. But here's the trap. If you wanted to do proper due diligence on your own, you would need to spend some cash, right? Like 5 to 8,000 on market research with the senior business analyst, another 5 to 10,000 on UI UX design and wireframe maybe, and 4 to 6,000 on technical documentation, and 5,000 to 8,000 on sprint planning and estimation. That's roughly around 20 to 30,000 before a single line of code gets written. If your total budget is 15 to 25,000, that math doesn't work, right? So what do most founders do instead? Most non-technical founders, self-funded, first time getting into business, fall into one of these three traps. Trap 1, the cheap freelancer trap. You go to Upwork or Fiverr looking to save money. You hire a junior developer for 3 to 5,000. They deliver something that kind of works but breaks constantly. You hire another one to fix it, then another. 6 months later, you spent 15 to 20,000 and still didn't have a working product. I've seen this happen dozens of times. Trap 2, the expensive agency trap. You go to a development agency. They quote you 80 to 150,000. They assign a project manager who doesn't fully understand your vision, and junior developers who never worked in your industry. You get a polished looking product that misses the actual problem you were trying to solve. Expensive, slow, and disconnected. Trap 3, the vibe coding trap. This is the newest and most dangerous one. You use AI tools to generate your app. It looks impressive in demo, but there is no real architecture, no security, no scalability plan. The first time real users hit it, it breaks, and now you have a code base that essentially spaghetti, impossible to maintain, impossible to hand off to a real developer without rewriting the whole thing. All three traps have the same root cause: skipping validation and proper planning. That's exactly what my method solves. The validate, design, build method. What it is and how it can help you build your software idea for 15 to 50,000 in 21 to 60 days. Step 1 is the most important step, and it's the one most founders skip. Whether you're building in an industry you know inside out, or you're stepping into something new, we need to answer one question first. Is this problem worth solving? And will people pay for the solution? Here's my approach. The idea itself is far less important than the problem the idea solves. So let me repeat myself. The idea itself is far less important than the problem the idea solves. Hope that's clear. So I start by extracting the problem, not your feature list, not your app concept, the actual pain point that real people are experiencing and willing to pay to fix. I then conduct market research to validate demand, analyze competitors, identify gaps, and determine the right positioning. If the idea holds up, we move forward with confidence. If it doesn't, I'll tell you honestly upfront, and that saves you 20 to 50,000 you would have wasted building the wrong thing. Even if you are already an expert in your industry, this step is critical. It gives me the context I need to become a true partner in your vision, not just a developer following instructions. Step 2 is where your vision becomes visible. The biggest problem non-technical founders face is translating what's in their head into something a developer can actually build. You know what you want, but you don't have the technical language to describe it precisely. That's where my design background becomes your advantage. I don't just write code. I design the user experience. I create high fidelity UI UX designs in Figma or in Adobe Illustrator. So you can see exactly what your product will look like and how it will function before we build it. I also create the technical documentation, system architecture, user stories, API specifications, everything needed so there are zero surprises during development. Think of it as a blueprint. You wouldn't build a house without architectural plans. We don't build the software without a complete design blueprint. This is where we measure twice so we can cut once. Step 3 is then development. And here's what makes this different from hiring a freelancer or an agency. First, fixed price, project-based pricing. You are not paying for my time. You're paying for deliverables. We agree on exactly what's being built, exactly what it costs, and exactly when it's delivered. No scope creep, surprises, no hidden fees. Second, I built only the essential features for launch, not everything on your wish list. The core features that solve the core problem. This keeps cost down and gets you to market faster. You can always add features after launch based on real user feedback. Third, daily communication. You will never be left in the dark wondering what's happening with your product. You will see progress, give feedback, and stay involved throughout. And yes, I use AI to accelerate development, but here's the critical difference. I provide the 18 years of engineering judgment that AI cannot. The AI writes code. I own the architecture, the security, the scalability, and the system design. You get the speed of the AI with the reliability of a seasoned engineer. That's not vibe coding. That's professional engineering powered by modern tools. But don't take my word for it. Let me show you 3 real projects where this exact method delivered results. QatarDebate is a national educational organization under the Qatar Foundation. They needed a complete event management system, something that would handle applications, dynamic processing, data management, and communication. They were managing all of this manually, and it was a mess. I followed the exact process I'm showing you today. First, I sat with the team, documented every requirement, and mapped out the entire workflow. Then I designed mockups showing exactly what the platform would do. The executive director reviewed the designs and approved them before a single line of code was written. Then I built the MVP. The platform effectively replaced 3 manual jobs with one automated system. Applications, processing, notifications, reporting, all centralized. Here is the result. That platform launched in 2017 and is still running today in 2026, 9 years later. Still in production, still serving thousands of users. The initial project led to a full-time role and an additional website project. The client was so satisfied with the MVP, they increased my contract payment beyond the original agreement. That's what happens when you validate and design before you build. You don't just launch, you build something that lasts. RouteOps is an AI-powered dispatch platform for non-emergency medical transportation, NEMT. This is a 12 billion industry that most people have never heard of. These are the companies that transport patients to and from medical appointments. Here's the problem I discovered. NEMT operators were losing an average of 127,000 per year to empty miles. That's vehicle driving with no passenger. They were managing dispatch with spreadsheets, phone calls, and software from the 1990s, literally from the 1990s. Nobody in the tech world was paying attention to this market because it's not sexy. I validated the problem by talking to operators, understanding their workflows, and confirming the financial pain. Then I designed the solution, an AI powered dispatch system that optimizes routes and eliminates wasted miles. Then I built it. The results: RouteOps reduced empty miles by 40% and increased revenue per vehicle by over 50%. Operators are saving over $127,000 annually. This platform exists because I followed the method, validate the problem, design the solution, build the MVP. The market was wide open, too small for venture capital, too boring for most developers, too complex for generalists. That's exactly what made it perfect. CareCade is a healthcare SaaS platform for disability service providers. These are organizations that provide developmental disability services. They need to comply with complex state regulations, track credentials, manage contracts, and report to government agencies. The problem? Providers were losing contracts worth hundreds of thousands of dollars because they couldn't keep up with compliance requirements. They were managing everything in spreadsheets and email. One missed deadline, one expired credential, and they lose a contract. I validated the problem by working directly in the industry, understanding the regulations, and talking to providers about their pain. Then I designed a platform that automates compliance tracking, credential management, and contract monitoring. Then I built it. The result: one client, Advanced Care LLC, saw an 86% increase in revenue after implementing CareCade. The platform now has over 390 providers in its network. Providers are catching expiring contracts before they lapse, staying compliant without manual tracking, and growing their business. Three different industries, three different problems, the same method every time: validate, design, build. So here's where we go from here. If you're a non-technical founder with a software idea and you have $15,000 to $50,000 to invest in doing this right, I want to help you. The first step is a free NDA-covered strategy call. On that call, I'll learn about your idea, your industry, and your goals. I'll give you honest feedback on whether your idea has legs. And if it does, I'll show you exactly how we'd validate, design, and build it together. But I need to be honest with you. I'm not an agency with 50 developers. I personally validate, design, and build every product. That means I can only take on 2 to 3 new clients at a time. If you're seeing this video right now, it means I have availability. Please only apply if you're serious about building your idea and you're willing to invest in doing it right. If that's you, fill out the application below to book your NDA covered strategy call. Your idea deserves to be built right. Let's make it happen.